Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Not so long time ago I found this speaker. Hey, what up? What up? What are you doing, bro? Can you please fix my radiator? It doesn't work. Yeah mate, please give me, I will have a look at it. Here you go. Okay, so another subject then. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Not so long time ago I come across this radiator which doesn't work. So in today's video I will be attempting to fix it to see if it is good for any use. And if I will fix it, well, I have another heater which I can use during the harsh winter times. So let's begin. So this is the heater, the brand of it, which is a common standard heater you can buy from local shop. This one in particular, I found it during one of my walk one evening. It doesn't look in pretty bad shape, but to be honest, I don't know if it's working. But to be honest, I think they throw it out because it doesn't work. So let's see if it's working. By moving it here to one side and plugging it in. Please don't do this, do something better if you can, as plugging appliances with term condition being unknown is pretty dangerous. So if you're planning to repeat what you're seeing here, you will be doing it at your own risk. You have been warned. So here we got the heater. Let's try to turn it on. Oh, smoking. I hear something. I hear him doing something. And also, it seems that it's working as I got some heat. It's putting on the second settings. Let's try it again. But it seems that something, I don't know if you are able to see, something inside, it keeps cutting out. So the heater seems to work, but it's intermittent, as, don't know if you are able to see, it's a loose contact in it, which makes contact only when the heater is placed in an upright position. Let's switch it off and unplug it, definitely, and remove this back panel to have access to the switches and the dials. Now, like I told you, I found this during one walk in the afternoon, and I decided to just take it as it was there in the street for the scrap man to take. So I said, well, this will be great in the winter. As if you remember, I did one video a long time ago regarding a conversion of a washing machine motor on a DC generator, and to be honest, during that time it was very cold here. Even the printer didn't work, meaning the 3D printer. I had to use a lighter to make the heater filament working. But anyway, I'm diverging too much, so let's go back to the video. So with all the screws removed, I was able to pull out the rear cover and place it here to one side. Now let's have a closer look. And here it seems that one of the terminals is burnt out. Let me zoom it in for you so you can see it better. So as you can see here, this terminal is completely disconnected, and here it was sparking. That's why it was working when it was set upright in the upright position, and not working when it was like shifting to one side. Now I think the next step what it will be to remove the shoe connector somehow. I think I need a plier, and the old connector is out. You can see how burned up it is, so it was definitely arcing. I think somebody have may drop this, that's why the connector got broke, or maybe it was like that from the factory. As I see also here some heater wire, it's a bit bent, but it doesn't seem that it's touching somewhere else, so don't think it's a problem with the wire, as when I plugged it in first time it was working partially. So it was working like intermittently, but then I discovered this was the culprit. So now what I can do, it will be to see where this wire goes, and it seems to be going to this power cable. And something else I have noticed is that here, that the cable is broken. So I think I will be taking out the entire connector and cut it a bit back, some length of the wire to work with. Now what I'm doing here, I'm just removing the screws which hold the cable, basically. And now with the heater element out, you can have a look at how it's constructed. You see that it's using a long strip of nickel wire, which is placed in a zigzag pattern, so like that they can put a long length of wire in a small cross area. Now let's go back to this cable. It seems that here a problem with it, as the isolation of the wire completely cut, and I see the earth wire coming out. So now we're trying to see how all the wire are connected to the heater and to remove it somehow, as it seems that they bolted quite hard, like so. The entire heater element is out. Now let's see if we can do something with this cable, and for that I think I needed some newer shoes for the connectors for being able to connect back the heater. So I was able to find my box which contained the shoes I need. Here I found two, which will be perfect as a replacement. Now basically with the cable, I was thinking to replace it, but I think it's still good, as I don't see any more cuts into the wire. So what I will be going to do will be to cut it a bit lower than where it was split, so that I know I don't have any broken internal wire. Take the other one, I use it as a measurement, so I know exactly where the other wire have to go. So I think here will be perfect. And cut a bit the isolation. You can do it any way you want. I discovered that it's working best with the snipping flush cut, the snipper. And here it is the wire, right? So the next order of business will be to measure again, as the long one will be the earth, usually colored with green and yellow, and see if that one has the same length, and it is. Doesn't matter if it's a bit longer anyway. And now let's make the other two connectors using a crimp connector. Firstly to slip the wire like so, and then add the shoe connector like so, and crimp it back, and do with the other the same. Add the shoe, twist it, make sure the wire is out, all the cross section of the wire is going in the shoe. You don't want to clip just a bit of the wire anyway. Clip that one as well, like so. And then for the earth connector, we need another shoe connector, but this time has to be one which can be screwed. I think this one will be perfect, as this one has a hole for a screw, and add that one as well, like so. So the cable is ready. And as a preventive measure, what I like to do when I am crimping the wire, it will be to get my soldering hot station and to add a bit of solder to the ends, and like that I know that I'm getting a strong connection, not just relying on the connector. And the wire is ready to be installed back. So now I'll be bringing back the chassis and giving it a bit of a high dust, a bit of a cleaning using a painting brush. So now with the case cleaned up somewhat, I can add back the cable and connect the neutral wire. So with the earth installed, I can move next to reinstall back the heater, then to route the wire through here, and to add the little cover like so. Perfect. Let me not forget the last screw which hold the entire assembly down, like so. And the next step will be to add back the controls, which I have been taking them off camera prior to be able to install the screws. And then we shall connect the wires back. From what I remember, this one was here, like so. Then the live was going here to the bottom terminal, which controls how much power is going to the heater wire, like so. And now I think we can add back the feet, the legs of the unit. If you are wondering why I'm wasting time with this old heater and why I'm wasting time repairing it, well, it's just because it's still good. Just for a small fault doesn't mean that the entire heater must be thrown in the landfill. As to be honest, most of the time nowadays when they break or something, like a connector or maybe a nut become loose or maybe has some scratch, instead of fixing it or try to make it better, people just often discard them. And to be honest, when you stay and think, maybe this unit doesn't cost too much to make or doesn't cost too much to buy. But personally, to be honest, I rather get something which somebody has thrown away and use it. Even if it's scratched or broken, I may attempt to fix it, and if it's not fixable, I try to convert it into something else, at least for the time being. After the unit is mounted, it's time for the last test, and if my wiring are successful, I will be getting another free heater. Let's plug it in, no bump, and let's switch it on to the first position and turn up the dial. After I'm turning the dial, I can hear a small buzz. I think this is normal, and also I feel a lot of heat emanating from the heater wire, So it means that the heater is working, and also it doesn't spark no more as the wire being replaced. Warm, nice. Let's try the other two. This is the maximum. I don't know if I'm able to see the wire going red inside of it. Was nice if I was having a thermal camera to show you the windings. You can see small glows. This is just because of the dust which is gathered between the wire is burning away. But to be honest, it's very warm. You have to believe me on this one. And if not, I can prove it to you that it's on by getting something. When you don't have like the right tools, you have to improvise. I got some piece of cardboard, and if I am trying to burn it somehow, this test by the way is very dodgy to do it. That's why I recommend you to get a thermal camera, so you'll be able to see. So you see smoke is coming, and also it's starting to burn. So that you know that the heater wire is working. Basically, that's perfect. Now I got another heater for the winter. So let me switch it off prior to reinstall back the back panel. And here we have it. The heater is ready. It's working as supposed to do. And also this fix was quite easy. Wasn't something hard to do. But to be honest, some people would rather throw good stuff out there instead of fixing them. So instead of fixing them and use them longer than what the manufacturing was intended. But this fault was just perhaps the person just dropped it while it was plugged in. But anyway, I hope you find this video interesting, and shall see you all in the next one. Till then, have a good day and thank you very much for watching. See ya!